Hello guys, welcome to 8K TV, the Smile Show, and today I have beautiful people in the house and ningependa waseme jina zao, something about themselves before we start an amazing topic today. Yeah, so I'll start from this side.
Good morning. Kwa majina, Christine Amundi. I am a counselor. I work here in Kibera. I work with children.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Morning. My name is John Ooko. I'm also a resident of Kibera and also a counseling psychologist.
Kwa majina ni Yani. Good morning, people. So my name is Meshak, a resident in Kibera, a youth in Kibera. I'm very happy to be here today.
And I, your host, Jacqueline Chivilio, a presenter at 8K TV. So today we are going to talk about mental health. Guys, how are you mentally? Mkoaje?
Mentally tuko sawa. Lakini kuna mtu alisema everybody in Kenya is a madman. So the degree of madness in a valley. So so mentally we think we are okay until we are not okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. Maybe just to add to that is that June is a men's mental health month.
Yes.
So I think it's such a timely platform for us to be discussing mental health issues.
Yeah.
And as he said, tuko sawa until something happens to provoke our mental stability. Yes.
But who cares about men?
We do. Are we not having a conversation?
Does the society care about men?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, but
Yes,
I don't
they do.
think so.
I think they do.
How are you mentally?
Mentally, I'm okay at the moment. Yeah, please know.
At the
At the
moment.
Yeah, I think things can change.
Yeah.
And things change based on environment. Things change based on information you receive, information you see. So triggers are there. I can be talking to you and I say something and things change immediately. So yeah, at the moment I'm fine.
So you talked about triggers. What are those triggers that cause mental health?
I think it depends on a person. Depends on personal experiences. Depends on exposure. Let's say, for example, I'm in an abusive relationship and I meet someone by the street, and instead of saying hi, I would duck because my reaction is this is a sign of someone is about to beat me. Or for example, someone has experienced things like rape or death, those things, and we have a conversation and someone suddenly brings up rape. That is a trigger for whoever has experienced it. So based on personal experiences, triggers are everywhere and in anything. And just so that we are clear, it's okay for people to have those triggers. I think also so that we accept people and deal with them based on triggers. Your trigger might be different from mine, so don't judge me. Don't make me feel bad. If I tell you what you're doing or what you're saying or what you've just said affects me, tone it down or let it go.
True.
Yes.
And maybe we'll say it comes from a point of where are we coming from as individuals? What have you gone through in life to the age and time that you are in? Because when something happens, as Christine says, it reminds you of what happened in the past. And that's how it is a trigger to you. Because it reminds you of either the trauma you've gone through or that sad experience you've had in the past and probably not dealt with per se. And so your thought is always something or other, it's going to happen. So that becomes a trigger and may result to the many challenges we could be experiencing and even the relationships that we are having. And this may come from either our relationships, our work spaces, and also our identity issues. So are our triggers coming from these three aspects? Yes. So you carry out all that and wonder, in this space, where is this relating to in my past life?
Some say it might be true or not true, but at the end of the day, it just depends on whoever and whatever the person has. Individually, maybe what you faced throughout the system. Maybe from the past you had some of the experiences. So if someone does anything to you, you become this is not right with me, and please, if you can't just address me the way I am, please stop using this such a word. and it's a really happening things amongst our youths. So because most of us think we've healed from what we have passed through, but we have not healed. Truth be told, some of us are struggling with childhood traumas. Some of us, if someone shouts at us, tunasema, unafanya? We think that, uni mzazi, ati hello, unaona? So, but yeah, we have not sat down as a society to educate each other, tuambiane ukweli. By the way, nilielezewa hivi. By the way, unajua kuna wale wa soft boy. Baba, uko fiti, unaona? Lakini sasa kuna sisi ati wewe, unaona? So if we go in a space mtu atushautie, tunakuangalia like, what are you doing? We are not used to this, unaona? Yes, and I guess our counselors vile wamesema ni ukweli. So ikifika hiyo point sisi hatujui withdraw. Unaona? We tend to see where you're not fitting the society, but it is true. Some of us are struggling, but at the end of the day, we are who we are.
And maybe to add, just before you come in, is talking about healing. Healing is not an event. It's not something you'll wake up one day and say, I am healed fast. That experience. Healing is a process. And part of that process is walking through that traumatic experience, exploring that traumatic experience and reliving it and experiencing the feelings you had when it actually happened, for you to walk through it and eventually amount to healing. So it's not an event, it is a process.
I just want to go back to what Mesha said about communicating. Lately, it's just something that came to me. I don't know if I'm right. I stand to be corrected. But I think we've raised a generation where women say yes to anything and men can't say no to anything.
Wow.
Yeah, so when you think about it, we have a generation where women are called names and a lot of things that are happening because of choices of life, because we are acceptable to what the society approves. And then men can't say no to anything because I'm supposed to be a man, I'm supposed to provide, I'm supposed to bring food, I'm supposed to do this, that, and that. So even when you're struggling as a man, you're not able to say, no, I don't have money right now. When I find it, I'll send it. Or I don't have it and that's okay. So a lot of issues that are happening, I think this month you've seen a lot of suicide issues, people hurting each other, someone's daughter thrown off the roof, and things like that. And it brings me to a space where, as Mesha said, people need to have boundaries in terms of feelings, in terms of relationships, in terms of where does it stop? If you're cheating on me, at what point do I say, okay, you continue, I'm out, and we are okay? And also bringing up emotionally mature people, because rejection that ends into killing and taking a life is emotionally immaturity. You've not gotten to a point where you say, she has a right to continue with her life, or he has a right. So you feel like, I will want to do my shenanigans, but I still have to keep you in my life. You have to stay here. And if you're not staying, then I'd rather take you out. And also that in every conversation, be it around family, be it around work, even just our social setups lately, there's a lot of people who sit in conversations they don't even want to be in for the sake of, I will be seen. Wacha niende trip. Wacha niende kwa bar. Wacha nifanye nini. Let me buy this dress because this is the dress code. People don't have the capacity to say, hey guys, based on my budget this month, I think I want to sit this one out. Let's do this next time. I will join you next time. And also, so that these social forums also accept those times. Like, if Christine can't afford to be here now, are we chipping in so that she can be here, or are we giving her time out so that she can be there for the next time? So our emotional struggles are coming from, one, living to please other people. We are not doing, I keep saying, no matter what you do what with and what makes you happy. Okay? So if we are going on a road trip and I'm paying for it, I'm not dying at home. I'm not going to kula skuma na ugali wiki mzima just so that you're happy. So I'm supposed to be in a space where, kama a young person, I tell myself, sawa nataka kwenda hii trip, but when is the next one? Is it the same location? So can I save up to it? so that I don't come back home and stressed and yelling and having, I call it an ugly face, because you're just not happy. People don't even understand what's wrong with you. So saying no to situations and to people, even when it comes to family, even when it comes to mom, you're supposed to say, Mom, yes, you raised me. I agree with you until this point. But at this point, allow me to be an adult. Allow me to make my decisions. Allow me to learn the hard way. And when you learn, sit back and take note that I allowed myself to go through this process and this was the end result and I'm okay with it. And if not, then what do you do to build up?
Probably allow me to interject with something. So she says something very beautiful that they've raised a generation, because she's a mom, of yes men and yes ladies and no men. Yeah. Yes. So it's true. It's true. And at least I want to flip the coin. It is true, not true. Because for us, men who are told when we were growing up, even as you look at the structure of a man, when you reach certain age, you're told you should go to Jandoni. So those people who know Jandoni, they know. If you know, you know. And if you go to so if you go to Jandoni, they tell you, you need to be a man. A man is not supposed to cry. A man is not supposed to show feelings. A man is not supposed to show emotion. So in whatever space I come and I find a lady crying, I'm supposed to be a man. Tell you it will be alright. Even if I feel for you, nakusikia ati pole zi. Nafaa kuambia wewe itakuwa tu poa, unaona? We are not supposed to shed a tear. But I think that's the wrong notion.
Yeah.
We are human beings. Just basically from human biology, you're supposed to at least allow yourself to be emotional at sometimes. But hiyo society imeka mwanaume afai kulia. Believe you me, if you walk right now hata kwa matanga yote, men do not cry. Even if it's their mother, it's their whatever, they will not cry. Even if it's crying, they will nile tu kidogo, and then you're told, cast strong, unaona? And then that's the end of it. How many times have you gone to someone tells you amekuwa na heartbreak? Wanaume wako na heartbreak. Leo machana dem fulani kesho. Unaona? Kwa sababu society imetuweka hivyo. You don't have that time to heal and look back and useme udem alinifanyia nini? What led me to me and her cutting ties, unaona? Kama pia okay, if you are in good terms umuulize, by the way, okay, I believe that tuko in good terms. What did I do wrong? Akwambie 1, 2, 3. So that as you move on to the next relationship or as you move on to your celibacy life, ujue by the way, kuna mse fulani hapendi hii. Everybody has a preference. But ladies, actually, it will take her time for her to accept another person. From experience, dem wezi azi wachalewa and then next week kumkatia ingia box. Maybe kama ataingia box, she's with her motives. Sasa, but you ndo notion society imeweka. But at this point, I feel it is the right time to tell people the truth. And the bare truth is, you're just human as anybody else. Ukitaka kulia lia, ukitaka kufanya nini fanya, unaona? Don't be shy. But sisi wanaume tumerezwa, noma, we kuwa simba, unaona? Yeah.
But I think mental health is a personal responsibility also. That's why she talked about boundaries. Yeah, coming down to Gen Z, nini nasumbua watoto mentally? Nini nasumbua?
I think this is the one space that is always very, sometimes we have to walk on eggshells, which is not right, because I think as we continue seeing the generations coming in, Gen Zs are willing to fight even before the consequences take place. And I feel like, for example, recently someone called my office line, and for sure in my head I said Gen Z. Sorry, maybe I was being judgmental, but this is the phone call. Hi, hapo ni pale Kibera. I'm like, yes, this is Kibera. Ni Kibera unatafuta nani? Ati kuna place natafuta Kibera. I'm like, please be more specific. Ni nini exactly? Kibera is huge. Yes, you've called my line. Do you know what you're looking for? Ati kuna organization nimepata namba yao, so that's why I'm calling you. I'm like, so what's the organization? Ati hapana, unajua nataka attachment. So I was like, oh, okay, so just a minute. You unatafuta attachment to an organization that you've not even checked the name, what they do. So how do I help you? Ati hapana unajua. I was like, no, it's okay. Please allow me to hang up before this goes south. I know me.
Yeah.
And I did hang up because general things like if I'm going for an interview, I'm expected to go online, find anything I can find about that organization, write it down, then follow up on Sasa, so and so, I'm calling you as an organization, and this is what I'm looking for. Yeah, so that then we are okay. So what are your qualifications? Yes, you can come in for an interview. We see, but you don't even know who you're calling, but you want an attachment. How does that work? So I think there's one, social media.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure to look a certain way, to wear certain things, to be in certain spaces, even when we can't afford it.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, I feel there's a general underlying entitlement to this should work for me.
Yeah.
I don't care how it affects you, but it should work for me. It should be available for me. Please make it possible.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're doing it, but make it happen. And thirdly, also parents who went through proper beating and now are raising a generation of protected eggshells. Don't touch my child kind of situation.
I'll report you.
We know the law. We know the law.
I know my rights.
I have my rights. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is, I think, largely, yes. So, and also accessibility to drugs and party life. And because there's a day I was going down Ngong Road, just at the roundabout near the city mortuary. I think there's a club there. And you could literally see children in my head. You could literally see young women and men totally high. And immediately I thought, if I was still my mother's child at that age, curfew was 7, regardless of what happened. And by the way, you never texted my mother at 7 to say you're running late. You had to have known at 6 you're running late, so that you communicate an hour before. You kifika 7 at, oh mom, you know, that one is you decided to say you're late when you're already late. So when you're seeing this generation of young kids out here living life, not worried about their organs, because me, I worry about people's organs, you know, like your liver, your whatever needs a certain level of alcohol and a certain level of bricks. So when you start engaging in alcohol and all these other things we are using that I won't mention, it really affects your mental health. Because you want to be high sometimes, maybe most of the time. You want to have access to these things and without even money. Yeah. So where is the money coming from? Because this online jobs is not available for all of us. Right? I think that people who actually go online and look for those jobs and they can't see anything that they can do. So either your mother is giving you money, or someone's man or father or husband is giving you money, or you're making it. But many times at a certain age, we still don't have jobs. So how are we maintaining this lifestyle we want? And then how does then it affects the day-to-day living of a young person? Yes.
Hapo kwa Gen Z noma. Hapo kwa Gen Z. Unaona generation yetu siko ubaya, acha tuseme let us call a spoon and a spade. We are a spoiled generation. Ni ukweli. Si uongo. Sisi ni wale, our parents went to good schools, by the way. Like my mom went to a very good school and they read books and they were enlightened. Was it called enlightened? Nelson Mandela said that education is the key to success. So they went to search for that key, and in the pursuit of searching the key, they were enlightened and basically they knew beating a child is bad, telling the child, oh, you are wrong, baba, it's bad. They were told, and they want to infuse the Western culture to us. And as I said, each and every day, we are living in a neocolonialism period where we are borrowing everything from the West, bringing it to Africa. And it's bad. It's killing us very bad. Most of the people I have interacted with and we interact with day to day in calling themselves Gen Zs, they don't know themselves. They're suffering what we call identity crisis. It is at this point where you will hear someone telling you, I have pronouns. You don't call someone a he They have he, she, them there. It's a lady, but tells you I'm not a lady, I'm a he. And you tend to wonder, like, where is the world going to? But at the end of the day, I tend to say, it's your choice, but at least look at the boundaries where the spaces you want to go. The scenario that mom is saying is true. Some of us are very ignorant to information. Maybe the person who was given the number to mom aliambiwa, kuna msee fulani najua, wewe mpigia atakusaidia. Unaona? Then akajua ni connection, alipigiwa akaambiwa so and so, unaona? Hakuambiwa prior that I did not call the person.
Yeah.
So you need to have proper etiquette when you're calling someone. Unaona? Hata kwa kizungu kulikuwa na ile etiquette. Imagine you are given a scenario, you are calling an office, someone is ranting on the phone. How do you do? Do you see the point? So all of us are very ignorant to information, very lazy. We want the ile kazi ya 3 hours kama majuu, because we are looking at the Western life. Oh, you work for 3 hours, then you're being paid some good sum of money. Yes, it's true. That is their life. But this is Africa. Please let us live in real time. Do you understand? And most of the people forget to know this, that you'll never be a youth for the longest time. In Swahili, they say ujana ni moshi. Yeah, so you just need to put yourself at a position that 10 years down the line, if you pass those 10 years, looking back, utaambia mtoto wako, what did you do for the society? Because you might be enjoying right now, but you don't look at the future. Some of us are myopic. We're not seeing tomorrow. We're just seeing today and now. So that's the problem. And it's affecting even the kind of leadership we are bringing up. Do you see? Because we elect people, we think they're smart, but okay, this is Nairobi. They say, welcome to Nairobi. So we elect them, we think, oh, they are smart, they are needed, they'll articulate our issues. But when they reach there, they have the money, they have the comfort, they have everything. They say, wow, this is life. Now they don't do what we elected them to do. They do everything for themselves. So no. So you're the problem when mimi nasema, it is boiling down from our parents, but tunaweza change, but si tumekata. Sasa uambie youth mmoja ataende kwa forum ya watu wanaongeleshwa kuhusu career. No one will come.
Yeah.
But tell them so and so is coming to perform. Aki, believe you me. Hata kama hana pesa, hana atatafuta na atakuja, unaona. So it is just high time for us to find a balance of what to say and what not to say. Na pia sika wenyewe to accept that we are on the wrong.
Yeah.
We don't accept that. Leo fadhia kama nipata kwa barabara nimesimama na msichana wake ananiambia, by the way, this is wrong. You are not supposed to stand with my daughter past 7 p.m. Naambia hapana, she is over 18, blah blah blah. He has the right as a father to tell you, no, this is not right. You should listen. But sisi, we are always very ready to fight. Oh, we know our right. Oh, past 18, blah blah blah. Even quote the constitution. But if they bring the constitution plainly, you'll not have a ground to defend yourself. No. So at the end of the day, it's just a generation crisis that we need to find a space to talk about, because itatuumiza. Mimi naliaga kila siku nikisema ndawa demana kona stikona niambie, I don't do ugali. I can't cook ugali for you. And that's me. Unafika supper na but today you're eating popcorns for supper. Yeah, you know. I'm crying because I look at my mom and I look at the ladies right now. There's two comparison. My mom does nails, yes, but ikifika ni saa kupika atapika, kufua atafua. No, not because she does not do that. Anajua, okay, I'm a wife. I am a mother to these kids. Unaona? But sasa hii wasichana man noma.
Unaweza pika na kale ka blending hand.
Hakuna.
Look at it this way.
Hakuna. Fanya hivi na koroga. You don't have to mess with it.
No. So that's the point.
Yeah.
They will have watakuwa tuna every way to. Sasa kuna ugali maker. You don't need to do anything. You just.
But you are advancing.
Why are you advancing with food? African food.
Let me tell you something. And there's a bit of me that agrees with the machines today, and especially the kitchen machines.
Thank you.
And please, I learned from my mother, and this is what my mother used
So
to say.
I'm
not 100%. I will cook my ugali because I was raised up cooking it on the 3 stones.
Yeah.
So I'm easy. But one of the things I've learned from my mother was that the beauty about being a man, and I don't know why it's changing slowly, that men are taking, and I feel like a lot of the stresses, if not emotional for men, they're mostly external. in the home if that they are not married to the partner that is working, a relationship that's working in the home. A lot of male stresses are external. You understand?
Yes.
Unless the person you are married to is a properly dysfunctional relationship, which 100% I advocate for walking away. But in a home, you will find, and in the old days, is where the father would come in na gazeti. The most atafanya ni kuoga, asome gazeti, angoje food, aende kulala. So this woman will be 100% on homework, on what, on making sure people have been put to bed, so that by the time she's coming to bed, ye mwenye ashachoka. And she has to wake up early before everyone. So, but now, if I have something that can cut onions for me and I don't have to cry, and it will take 2 seconds, why won't I buy it for myself if I can afford it? I see chapati maker, that thing for pressing and dough just comes out round. Why would I want to have a rectangle chapati? You get, if you are going to judge me for my rectangle chapati, I better buy that thing and serve you round chapati. But so if it makes work easier for your person in the house and you can afford it, buy it. These male chauvinist roles where man should not, and you're not willing to make it easier for your person is not right. If you decide to do kazi yako ni kuona TV, kuona football, saidiana kukua na laundry machine, saidiana kukua na blender, saidiana kununua these ovens and things that someone can cook with. But do not expect, one, that your partner is emotionally stable if she was up at 4 to make get kids ready for school, have your breakfast ready, go to work, come back in the evening and start the same cycle, and she will do it for a whole week.
Thank you.
It does not work like that. Kama punda uchoka. How do you decide that people don't get tired? If, on the other hand, you're doing homework, you are helping with the kids, you cleaned dishes, you supported, then that's okay. 2, always allow your partner to take a break. Even if it's just Sunday off to sit in and read a book, it is allowed, because, as I said, triggers come from very small things. And for us women, and I don't know if men know this, we build up. Many of us build up. Ni vile ulinijibu jana, imenikumbusha ya last year. Si ya leo, ni ya last year. Kuna vile ulinijibu in a certain way, likely to suggest similarity hapa. So we build up and we build up and we build up, and then one day we explode. And the incident, you remember, I think it was last year, when this lady left her home, marital home, to go back to her parents, and her parents sent her back home. And she went and threw herself and her children in a river.
Yeah.
And I still say until today, that woman had to convince her children that it is safe to jump. Because they were not small. You had to convince, unless ulimurusha unawares, you had to convince your child that we are jumping here and it is safe to jump. And ask yourself, how bad was it that she was willing to die instead of go back? So at the end of the day, talking through things, one, I keep saying, if you're dating and communication is not working, leave that relationship alone. If you two can never sit down, even in this generation, as you're saying now, because this is where a lot of suicide, a lot of killings, a lot of things are going on currently. If you cannot talk to each other and call each other out and still be friends is the main thing here, then leave that relationship alone. Supporting each other in terms of what people want. Also saying no when someone is going a path that you don't want. Because you can be here with me today and I'm Christine, and tomorrow I want to be called Jackson, and I still say I want to love you. You have a right to tell me, you go be Jackson over there. I will find another Christine, because doesn't mean Christines are done. We understand each other. So boundaries in terms of self-care, in terms of how we relate, even at work. That's why it's okay to say, I am taking a mental health day break. Even if you're taking it out of your leave, when you feel overwhelmed, and sometimes it's not even work that's overwhelming, sometimes it's family. Someone is sick, someone has died, what's happening, you have to meet deadlines. It's okay to say, I'll take a 2-day leave. Go and be with yourself. We do not like ourselves. We do not sit with ourselves. I don't think we're in a generation where even being in our houses are comfortable. We want to always be going. We want to be in Naivasha. We want to be in Ngong Road. Something has to be happening for us to feel alive. So we're in a space where kama John ana mpango, lazima nitafute mpango ya Jackie. Lazima nitafute mpango ya Mesh. Juu nikikaa with myself for 2 hours, I start digging into thoughts I don't want to dig in, and I start feeling insufficient, and I bring myself down. So part of health and mental wellness is, are you even able to sit with yourself and be okay? And sitting with yourself has to start from baby. You know, when your child cries and every moment you run to pick them up, you're teaching them codependency. They can't cry and stop. You know, as when we were growing up, you'll cry until you stop. The venting has to come out before someone talks to you. But nowadays, with children, okay, codependency. So you always have to be with someone. If so-and-so is not there, so-and-so has to be there. So you have to allow room, even in your party and your social life, to take time out from people. I say I am a very social, antisocial person because I will be the life of the party. I will be fun the whole day. Imagine kesho sitoki kwa nyumba. If everyone knows, I come back and say, nimetoka road trip, nini. Then the following day, I'm like, okay, so Christine, be with Christine. Everyone yesterday took your energy. You need it back.
Well, so much to unpack. Sijui nianzie wapi. But back to your question, what are some of the issues around the Gen Zs? One, this is the generation I call Kababa generation. Everything is Kababa Kamama. So one, we are inheriting so much from our millennial parents. Tunatoka kwa familia zenye mzazi atasema, I went through hell. I will not wish my child to go through or have a same experience or a similar experience to what I went through. But if you interrogate this parent father and ask them, how do you feel about yourself? They are so proud of themselves. Where did they get that pride from? Their parents. Because wamenyooshwa na hao wazazi, wakawa watu, na wanajivunia kuwa hao watu ambao wanajivunia. Then how come we are now changing the conversation to, I do not want my child to go through the same experience. It may not be the same, but it might be similar. There are certain values that were inculcated in me while I was young, and I have lived by those values to this level that I have work ethics, I have values, I can communicate better, I understand relationship and the boundaries therein. I also have a relationship with myself. So let's pick it up from there. When we look at Gen Z, identity issues are crazy in this generation. And just to say this for purposes of exploring this conversation, is we have normalized single parenthood. I'm not saying it's bad, but we can make it better. How do I mean? When relationships don't work, and your life is at risk, it's fair you walk out. Fair enough, because you can only make a case for yourself when you're alive. When you're dead, nobody will care. Whoever is alive will make their case and that will sail through. So when you walk out, does it mean you do not have any male friends, any male relatives to come and be in this child's life? We have lost that bit as millennial parents. So I walk out, cut every male around me off the child. It's me and my child, and that's it. So our children, if you are a female raising a male, you're already raising a she, because the only thing they interact with is female. So they are building that in. So that's one. The fact that in this generation we have normalized single parenthood. Not a bad thing. But I always say it's important to also be fair enough to the child that you're raising. If you can expose them to your circle of friends, fair enough. Look at the relationships we have even with our parents, and more so in instances where we have both parents. The father is an absent father. Present but totally absent. Okay? So there's no point. There's a song we used to sing tukiwa grade 3 that asubuhi baba anaenda kazi. Kutoka kazi baba anaenda pombe. Akirudi tumelala. Sasa ni saa ngapi tutamuona baba? There is no relationship between a man and the children. And you expect to build a man out of it. No point. There is a narrative in this generation that a woman has it all together. Even when you are raising a boy child, you can do it without a man. A big lie. You are a female, you can only raise a child, a female child. If you are a female with a male child, there is no way you will turn around to be a male, because there's so much the male need to learn from the male. There's a level that we have to separate. Now, I would say between age 3-6, male identify with the mothers. Okay, it's a stage called the phallic stage, where there is the Oedipus and the Electra complex. Okay, the male fall in love with their mothers, the female fall in love with their fathers. The ability to negotiate that stage is quite important, because at the end of that stage, the male will always fall back and identify with their fathers, and then they start learning the manly duties. The female, on the other hand, will go back to their mothers. Despite all the suspicion they were having, mama na feel, mtoto ananyang'anya mzee and all that, they will fall back. Wataanza kujifunza kupika. Wataanza kujifunza kufanya nini? Kuosha and all that. When he talks about the struggle with cooking, the struggle with such like stuff, it's not wrong to have all these equipments at home, but at least can you perform the tasks? At least. Okay? Tunasema wanaume tunapenda kitu mwanamke amepika, si mashini. So kama unaweza pika. You know, there is an element of nitakamjikoni nikupate ukipika.
Ndio, wow. Your heart is wow.
Unajua hiyo song? Unajua hiyo song? Ni slap wapi?
Wacha.
Unaona? So there is that element that even in doing these duties and chores, we can make life out of it. Lastly, maybe to say is, as Gen Z, do we have relationships with ourselves? Or we are, like Christine was saying, kama sina shughuli na Mesh, niko na shughuli na Christine. Because you are always hoping, and you'll realize even in this generation when you look at their relationships, they are always hoping from one to the other. Because of fear of being alone. Where is that fear coming from? What is the need that this generation is yearning for, that they cannot even acknowledge that I'll have a me time? And lastly, I would say the struggle a lot will be on their awareness. Wanajua tu mimi ni so and so, but when you interrogate the depth of awareness, Gen Z, are they aware of themselves?
No.
We are a depressed generation, and apparently, I happened to visit a street somewhere, whereby I found this girl. She lives in the streets. She comes from a well-off family. You imagine someone coming from Kilimani, akuja ishi kando ya reli in the streets. And so I asked her the reasons, and she was like, she just got depressed. Because unimse amesoma, unimse ameenda national schools, unimse amevisit 5 countries. But she prefers staying in the streets. Why? Because of peace of mind. Anataka to gather herself back and go back to herself, because ataki could depend on the family, because she thinks like, who will listen to me? After all, we are well off, but hakuna mtu ananisikiza. So what are some of the scenarios that are going on in our country right now that shows we are a depressed nation. We are mentally depressed as a generation right now.
Angalia hata Deputy President juzi akisema we are fighting alcoholism. So drug abuse imekuwa on the rise. Suicidal cases imekuwa on the rise. GBV office, anywhere, just pop in the office and ask how many GBV cases do we have. They are very, very, very many. They are on the rise, and it's not only towards male or female, hata watoto. Child molestation has become an issue because we are not right mentally. Juzi hapa tumeona, was it a man allegedly, or we can't say allegedly, but inasemekana alirape mtoto wake, a 9-year-old. It's such traumatizing kwa sababu we're not in that right state to have this information. We live in the spaces where we see drugs zinapedliwa kila corner. You look right, they're being peddled. You look left, they're being peddled. I even wonder and worry for the small kids. And these days, it is just like the new gospel in town. If you're not doing it, then you're not part of us. So those are the issues that we need to address. So those are the real-time information that we have that inafaa tu sahii ma-counselor, sijui kama kila mtu akuwe counselor ama nini, ama kufungwe tu. Unaona kaka kuna National Prayer Day. So kuwe National Counseling Day. Tunakaa tu the whole day pale Nyayo. Wanakaa wanatuambia the do's and don'ts, wanatuambia vile tunza juu ni kubaya. Hata sahii najua they will tell the case studies. Ziko mingi, wako na case file mingi. People are having watu walali, unaona. But sasa at the end of the day tutafanya. Unaona. Yeah.
We have the active case ya sahi kuna hii trending ya Ian, the guy who was arrested the other day kupiga cop. How did we end up there as a generation? 19-year-old. The other day we were reading of this NIS guy, the struggle within the family, and these are two different cases over a 19-year-old is a Gen Z, and then this is a senior person, senior officer, senior citizen. Apparently I was having a conversation with a very close friend of his, and interestingly, she admitted that this is my best friend, that I didn't know he was going through this.
So he has a facade.
And that sank me, like a friend that you didn't know. And the story behind it, family matters, work. Remember when I started, I said it's work, relationship, and identity. So these are perfect case scenario of work and relationship issues. We are talking of the renowned, he was in KTN or Citizen. Mbugua, yeah. And there was also another lady. Both of them are still at the Mathari presence. So there are so many other cases that probably Christine will also highlight. But the question for me is, how did we end up here? What brought us here?
I think for me, looking at professional spaces, in military police spaces, I think experience in terms of the things they deal with and what they're exposed to day is heavy. And I know and I'm aware that in the past few years, there's a lot of force and a lot of push to have counseling and things like that going on for the police service, which is a big thing. Because I look at it, and sometimes one of the things we fail to do is put ourselves in that shoe. Yeah, put yourself in John's situation. Look at it for a minute and ask yourself, if I was in the same space, would I react the same way? So the police is the person you call when someone has died in your house to come and see what has happened. They are the ones who help you pick up bodies by the road accidents and collapsed buildings and things like that. They're exposed to traumatic experiences every single day. Those, if on a normal day I don't count dead bodies, but I'm still traumatized about things. If it were them, I'm looking at police transfer. You wake up and you have to leave your family to wherever county, to another county, 6 months, 3 months, you're moving again. Like you really don't even have control of your life as a person and as an adult, because even what was mentioned is his last move. He had to move again to a different work site. So in that aspect, I believe that also there's a lot of things you cannot say. I mean, disaster response. And a lot of things that we do as responders, when we come, we can only debrief with us and with counselors. Because I'm not allowed to come and tell you what I saw in a certain situation, because I will traumatize you. So it is me and my team against our mental health. So based on that, I'm commending, and I know that they are doing well in terms of continuously supporting. But the problem is we have a facade. We show up with faces that are smiling, yet we are boiling inside. We do not want people to see us drowning because we'll be considered weak. As he said, men are supposed to be strong, men are supposed to show up. And also that we're also in a generation where you, Jackie, tell me your story, utaiona kwa WhatsApp status jioni.
Sure.
Utaiona kwa social media, having a friend, not to mention names, Then I tell you a story. How do I expect you not to kill yourself, take your life, knowing very well that you are the only person I told that story, but that's so many social media, now people are talking about me and judging me. Because social media, people hide behind social media, because as long as I have a fake name and everything, I can say whatever I want. I don't care whether it's going to hurt you or not. And then on the other hand, because we have both sides, you see what is happening to city council studies. We see what's happening to the police nowadays, where we have individuals in the system who harass and abuse and expose Kenyans to really bad things. So once in a while, you will find someone going through that same hand. And not because this person has done so much damage at the time, but sometimes you carry the pain of everyone else. You carry sasa hata mimi leo ananifanyia hivi. And it is easy for that to be a trigger, and you react without thinking. Yeah, and then after that you come and say, "What? Maybe I shouldn't have." But at that time, your exposure to that experience, triggered by everything else you've been seeing and how police have been dealing with people and manhandling people, you decide and you react, and then the consequences come. So I believe in terms of both sides, depending on which side you're sitting at, because if you go hard on one side, you will be taking side, and that is not what we're supposed to do. So encouragement in terms of talking through things. I will still say, and you said it, Mesh, that we are not strong. We are human. For a senior officer like that, his support system would definitely be either someone higher or someone his level to be able to talk to, because in his rank he can't come back and vent at junior people. I see a lot of people going, "Oh, check on your strong friends." My experience one time, I'm known as a counselor, I'm known to talk, I speak my mind. So one time I sent in a group that I am not okay. I'm struggling and I'm down. In a group of more than 30 people, only one person called. Only one person actually saw that text and called. So please note that even in the spaces that you are, and these stories that you tell people online, that check on your people, do it. Don't post it. Don't post it. Do it. Pick up the phone and say, "I'm not okay." And also, I know, and as we talk about fitting in, some people use your story to fit in. If I come and talk about Jackie with John, it validates my relationship with John, because away from talking about Jackie, we have nothing going on. We don't have a relationship. So I will go and gossip about Jackie. Jackie is the common person. Umemuona vile anafanya, siku hizi anaringa nini. That keeps us going. The moment we have nothing about Jackie going on, we don't have a relationship. So I will keep coming back to Jackie to collect, and I will keep going back to John to keep this relationship going. So also, as we are saying, young people, be in spaces that validate and take care of your emotional well-being, including your personal stories, including whatever is happening in your life. And trust me, you will know. You will know. Eventually, you sit in spaces and feedback comes to you. Something was said, and you're able to play it back and say, but that thing I only told Nani. How is it here? And also, be in a space that you're able to end certain relationships. You understand? By the time I was leaving this group, it is a relationship that I had been with for over 15 years. But when I sat back and checked myself and said, what person called? I left group. The beauty is at the time it's only admins who know I left group. So someone tries to tag me and they call, kwani siku hizi uko kwa group? And I go, oh, I left a year ago. Oh, wow. And I'm like, oh, so you see, it took you a year to notice. And by the time it was taking that person a year to notice, it's because they needed my help. So they were calling me because they needed something. So relationships, we use this word toxic a lot, that it has even diluted the meaning of bad behavior and bad characters and nasty human beings. So if someone is straight out not your support system, you're not going 100 for you the way you go 100 for them, remove yourself. Unless you are eating from their table, because then there I say you have no control at that time, walk away. The only person, and at a vulnerable point, is when your food comes from that person's table. And if you do not have a solution to next, then you sit and eat, but figure out your way out. But if any other relationship, and it is as bad as people keep telling me, and we have this thing we say to children, that the Bible says, obey your father and mother so that you can live long. And I keep asking, isn't that the same scripture down there? It says, and parents do not cause your children, do not provoke your children. How come this scripture applies more? How is it that it is validating bad behavior, bad parenting, absenteeism from parenting? You grow up to be an adult, and now you're trying to sustain yourself, and someone shows up and people are going, but he's your father. Where? Where? Because a lot of young women are struggling with bad boyfriend relationships because the male figures were absent. Please note, the only reason why, and I'm being very respectful in terms of people's careers, but the reason why young women are pregnant in Kibera is because some man bought them something worth 150 something, told them, I love you. They are pregnant. Just because the male figure who was supposed to say, I love you, who was supposed to buy this 100 bob thing is missing. When I talk to my male friends who have daughters, I say, love your daughter in a way that when a man shows them love, they're like, hey, tushani na baba yangu kwa hii mapenzi. You know, they have something to reflect on and decide this is not a good husband, this is not a good father. So even as John is saying that single parenthood is big, and I agree when he said bring in male figures into these children's spaces, bring in your sisters into these children's spaces. But we also say as counselors, we have to be fair.
Yes.
Because by the time, maybe I told you I was pregnant and you told me to abort, and I walked away and raised this child, and then you show up 5 years later, what do you want me to do then? Because I'm entitled to my pain. The only difference would be if I went for healing, if I went for counseling, and I agreed to certain level that now I'm okay with this, yes, you can come back, and at what capacity? Because men are also, some men are also very entitled. They want to come back in totality. So now you can't even have a relationship. Ukismile na John hivi, who are you talking to? Who is that man? Why is he near my daughter? Please, let's separate that. Let's also separate, as you're saying, in these spaces, as the government is providing counseling for police. And as we continuously also encourage counseling for men, because men don't want to go for counseling. Please note, a lot more women are receiving counseling support than men in this country currently, because there's this narrative that you as a man going for counseling is weakness.
Umama.
Mbona naenda kuongelesha watu. And sorry, but I really detest that umama word. Because I come from a space, everyone is born of a woman. So when you're saying umama, are you putting your mother, your sisters, your everything in this space? When you're trying to bring women down, my friend once posted a thing on his status that says, it was something belittling women around how men are more than women, so women should settle. Something along those lines. And I called him. And he said, why would you call me about something like that? And I said, but you're raising a daughter. He said, what? I said, but you're raising a daughter. When you're putting it out there that she should settle for anything because men are few and women are more, is that what you want for your child, or this is just generally what you want for women? He said, but us. I said, no, because at the end of the day, your woman, your child will meet that generation of man who believes they are less and women are many and they can frolic around and bring back home diseases and things. So at the end of the day, support is there. Know where you're finding it from. That's one. Two, who you are telling your stories. Because a lot of distractions lately is people who know us, not strangers. Not strangers. Someone will not come out from there and publicize my story if they don't know what I'm going through. Also, as much as you're seeking psychosocial support, take care of what goes in. We have this theory of we all YOLO. I don't agree with it. I do not agree. YOLO. Yes. Oh, okay. You only live once. Yes, but we forget that we actually live every day. We die once. You live every day. You die once. It is not you only live once. Apana. We live every day. From the moment you step out to the moment you actually, nowadays hata kulala kwa nyumba ni risky. There's a season even staying at home was safe.
Yes.
Nowadays construction system continuously shows us.
Normal.
Unaweza ingia kwa hii nyumba na usitoke. It's true. So you live every day. So whatever you do, whatever decisions, the people you hang out with, the moment you realize as a person, like now this young man, he made a mistake. And yes, the legal process has to take space. And that will take space. Whatever will make that man different is how everyone else will journey with him. Because he can either come out a better person or he can come out more damaged based on the support he has. Because moments of weakness lead to that. I keep saying, I will not slash your arm if I've never thought about it. You get? Utanikasirisha leo niseme huyu mtu siku moja ataniona. And it continues and it continues. And then one day, suddenly it comes a reality. So the moment you have certain thoughts, the moment you have suicidal thoughts, the moment you start feeling, because suicide doesn't manifest in a day, as John said. It comes from small feelings of loneliness, of sadness, of pain, of invalidation, of how dare he speak to me like that? Does he think I'm that small? How did he just leave me for that girl? So I'm not, it is continuously beating yourself down to the point you can't even wake up. Morning reaches like this, alafu unajiuliza, mimi sitaki kutoka nje. Unajifunika, you'd rather sleep and stay in because you can't deal with people. So the moment those thoughts are there, then you have to take the step of seeking for help. I will still say the right spaces. Seeking help from people will nani umesikia nani amejaribu kujinyonga? Because the moment that thing comes back to you, you can't keep it. You can't hold. Because now people are talking about me. They're saying I'm trying to kill myself. Now it makes the situation worse. But also, as Mesh said when we were on a break, being aware of what calms you down. Be very aware of what calms you down. There's something you do as a group and it is fun and for that moment you're alive and all that, but that's as a group. But if you're someone, maybe like me for example, I'll literally walk into a club and sit next to the speaker. And you know that boom 12 thing you keep saying, itaharibu masikio? Now me, that's what works for me. Wow. I can literally sit with a bottle of water and listen to that sound. That's what comes. So if it's a reggae, if it's taking a walk, if it is going to, the people who come down just by seeing the river flowing. That just that movement for them is the moment of stillness. So if it's prayer, let whatever works for you. Yes, let that one be your go-to spaces. And also for me, lastly, be aware of your boiling point. Be aware of your boiling point, and every time that boiling point comes, communicate it. Communicate and be firm about it. Say it very clearly. Wewe nikiongea na wewe ikifika padi fulani unanikosea heshima hivi na hivi na hivi ni kuanzia leo.
Yeah.
And if that person continues, you warn them, and when it is something that you realize it is not working, you step back. Yeah.
Kenya Christine anasema ni ukweli. For me, I tell people, when you see me when I'm angry, okay. Kama niko angry, please just walk away. Because I know I'm not in control of whatever I'll do. None. Those are the things people fail to tell each other. If I know Jackie from a personal perspective, but I know when Jackie is pissed, you don't talk to her. You let her be. If she's a baby girl, let her be a baby girl. If she'll throw tantrum, you need them. Achana nayo, unaona. So these are the things that most of us fail to tell each other. Because Christine best yangu leo tumepatana naye tumebond, but I don't know Christine. Sasa because alikam, the moment she came, she gave me that vibe of, okay, I understand you, I do 1, 2, 3. Then you are in that space. But when she turns back to the other side of her, you say, "Sitaki associate na Christine." It's not that utaki associate. It is not. It's just that you don't understand that people have two sides. We are coins. Each and every time I tell people that whichever situation you are in, know that kuna mtu yeye ni mzuri but ubaya yake pia inaweza kuwa mbaya. Unaona? They are narcissist people in the society. They are just known to inflict pain in people. But have we ever sat down and asked ourselves, say by the way alikuwa good at some time, but what triggered that person to be this person? None. And I usually say that it is just okay to say no to everything and just be you. Maintain a small circle, you'll go far. Maintain a big circle, you'll be dragged behind. Each and every time you want to make progress in life, people will tell you, "Apana, you know so and so did." No, just maintain a small circle. And a small circle does not mean a friends or whatever. It might only take one person. That's a circle. Because for us, Gen Z, tunaogopa kuambiana ukweli. Naogopa nikiambia John wesi beste yangu, but mi chill na wewe. Sasa, Jackie wesi beste yangu, but mi upenda kuchill tu na wewe. Unaona? That is the conversation we need to start having. Christine, I love the way you speak. I love you to be my friend. Christine says no, she has offended me. But if Christine says no, she has her own preferences. Maybe I don't suit the person she wants to be associated with. So at the end of the day, hiyo ndio conversation tunafaa tuanze kukua naye. That I love you, Jackie, as a person. I will want to chill with you, but you're not my friend. And Pata, I love you so and so. I would love to do 1, 2, 3 with you. But I don't want you to be my friend. None. But I love John. John is the one I'll confide in. So vilikuwa nasema it just boils down to sisi kusetiana boundaries na kuambiana ukweli, because at the end of the day the society may to raise ile you can't talk, but let us have those conversations. No. Yes, I love you as your personality, but you can't be my friend because you also have preferences. Unapenda ugali, napenda mchele. That's me. Don't judge me. No. So that it will reach a point that we'll need to have this conversation. And for me, I feel that generation dogo, the Gen Alpha from 2010. So we have a generation called Alpha. So we should just start telling them the truth that it's okay to have so many people knowing you, but it is not okay to have so many friends, because this will affect you. I'll borrow something from John today. I'll borrow something from Christian today. It becomes part of me. So, but if I only have John, I will have something to refer to. No. So that is a generation thing. Have that one person that you go back, sit down and amwambia, these are my problems and how can I be better? If it does not work from that point, then I say have a mentor but don't follow each and everything they do. Sasa I can have a fashion mentor, huyu ananifanyia tu mambo ya fashion, mimi sitaki kujua story yake. Huyu ni wa psychology, ananifanyia mambo yangu ya psychology. Then pack it up together, then have something that you can say, I borrow this and I'll go with it. No, generation thing tunafaa tukue nayo. That's my take. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about solutions to depression, to our mental health. What can I do? Because me personally, I think you've enlightened me so much, because I think I've been concentrating on what people will say about me, because growing up and adulting is so hard, because you make decisions today, kesho umefuta umeandika zingine, and you have so many plans. I'm thinking of my range, I'm thinking of my house, I'm thinking of that jeep, and then napata hii pressure, kuna mse ame make it, na we are of the same age, and I'm here struggling. So your pressure, you know. So thank you so much, you've enlightened me. But how can I deal with this? How can I deal with?
So allow me to jump in first. Mimi ndakupe tu quick one. I said one time, I don't want to sound as a motivational speaker, but allow me today. Allow me. There's one person who said that there's time for everything. At Ecclesiastes chapter, that chapter, we don't want to. Yeah. So for those who know Ecclesiastes, nimesema ukweli. Kizungu So as I was saying, Ecclesiastes, there's time for everything. So maybe at 21 I am successful, but down the line squander the success. At 30 you're successful, down the line you'll have that success not a group. Unapata. So mimi naambiaga tusikue na pressure. Social media ni pressure, lazima tu utaiona, but time tu dogo. Then mimi usema one thing, there's no perfect solution for anything. Hata sahi mathematics kuna they find the value of x. Nilifanya, my father did, my mother did, the father of my they find the value of x. Sahi kuna mtu anambia find the value of x. So there's no perfect solution, but I say the solution begins with you. Acceptance. Me, I say anything that you want to put outside the world must start with you. Love yourself, number one. Know yourself in and out. Each and every day I tell people, wake up, kama ni mwanaume, say I'm handsome, I'm fearful, I'm ready to face the world, I'm smart, I am ready to learn, and I'm ready to interact. For me, it's just like a simple prayer to say to your mind that, okay, let's go and attack the world. Someone tells me you are not looking good, nakwambia hiyo ni yako, ni sawa. Mimi niko handsome, mimi ni cute nini, even if you tell me whatever, I'm smart, I'm nini none. But the key thing is be able to learn. Why did that person said you're not good? Unaweza mtafuta umuulize, mbona unasema siko poa? Unaona? Atakwambia 1 2 3. Now that you're learning. Unapata? Apart from you know yourself, but just scale it down. Allow correction. The other solution is allow yourself in spaces that grow you mentally and spiritually, physically, or emotionally. Allow yourself in those spaces. If you find that ile bezi yenye unakaga kwa bangi haikujengi, achana nayo. It's very easy. It will seem hard, but I was told by someone, if you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Yeah. Is it true?
Consistently.
Yeah, consistently. It becomes a habit. Utalenga, siku ya kwanza you'll relapse. Siku ya pili, pole, gradually. Then you'll find yourself, okay, kumbe naweza fanya hii stuff. No. So ni wewe mwenyewe, allow yourself to have that 21-day challenge. Sit down, plan yourself, say for the next 21 days, I'm not doing this. Even if it's do it in small portions, then unaachana tunayo pole, unaona. So for me, solutions are all round, but it begins with you. If it knows you, so we solve kila kitu, unaona. As much as I'll go to a counselor, as much as they'll counsel me, you'll still find, kuna ule msa ata-counsel you earlier about depression. 3 months down the line, he's good. Then, the 4th month, relapse, amerudi tena. From now identifying blah, 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 unaona. But for me, mi usema, kama haijatoka kwako inbuilt, it will never happen. So for me, that's the only solution I can tell mtu yote. Na, if I'm wrong, I stand to be corrected.
We say that we are experts of our own. We tailor our life. We know what recipes to bring in to kutupatia hiyo mchozi tunataka.
Yeah.
Kama unaona wewe ni wa Mbogi itakupea mchuzi, but also be able to live with those consequences that come after it. But talking about depression, we are looking at it's one of the wrongly used term by this generation. Mzee atatoka hapa ajikwae mguu hapo kwa gate, I am depressed. Amejikwa tu mguu lakini ako depressed mbaya. But depression is deeper than what we project out there, because it takes some time, prolonged sadness. You find yourself never enjoying some of those activities or activities, yes, that you initially enjoyed. Ulikuwa unapenda kusikia mziki, you no longer. You enjoyed a certain company of friends, you're no longer interested. Unajifungia home, utaki, uko kwa blanketi, vitu kama hizo, unajinyima chakula, unaona. So, and it scales up to the point where you do not see the essence of living. You do not have motivation to live. Yeah. And probably it's important we understand where this comes from. It is in our interpretation of some of the experiences we go through as individuals. Because what you go through, maisha ni kushuka na kupanda. Na vile ulisema, ujana moshi na hauna ujuzi. So, utajipata leo uko this side, next day you are the other. Life will hit you left, right and center. As a generation, are we able to understand and acknowledge that it is life and it is a journey? Na kwa safari kuna milima, kuna mabonde and all that. There are plains and all that. So first acknowledge that aspect, that life will slap me. And therefore, how I interpret and understand and what values and meaning I give to each experience is what will journey with you and take you to the next level. But otherwise, if your notion is that life has to be so straight, I have to get away with everything, I have to mesh lazima ni treat in a certain way, juu ni beshte yangu, unaona. Nikiinok mlango fulani lazima nifunguliwe, unaona. Tukikuja na hiyo idea ya life, unaona tumejirestrict on how flexible and open we are as individuals. So number one, even when we talk about solutions, it's important we understand how are we taking or are we carrying our lives as individuals in our own spaces as Gen Z. Then number two is kukubali kwamba kwanza maisha itakuja na changamoto zake. And what do you do? As Mesh has said, I will agree with him that one, tailor what works for you. What gives you peace? Number one. I will not talk about drugs, because wengi tutasema wacha nikunywe kidogo nisahau. But does that also lead you to dependency? Utajipata every time ka slight thing lazima nipige katot. Na tot scales up to something and to something and to something. So in terms of one, we talked about having a me time. True. Are you someone who can have their own time to reflect on their life? And even during this me time, inaweza kuwa unajiambia wacha niende vacation mahali, nikae tu nitulie, niende beach, niende along the oceans and all that. Nitulie tu, nijiliwaze. Nitakaa mahali nisikie mziki. That is all about me time. And also, the other approach that I will give, and Mesha amesema kitu kweli, atuwezi, there are array of options we can provide. So what works for you, go for it. Is self-care. You're having an experience and definitely you feel a certain way about it. Do you want to engage further? Or is it time you take some space off and say, let me give it some time. Let me cool down. Let me reflect on it. And probably I'll come back with a better feeling and a better understanding of what I am going through. So having self-care also is important. Number two is understanding your boundaries. I was telling someone the other day that for Christians, Jesus ni mmoja tu. For Islam, it is Isa. It was only one. Huwezi beba mizigo ya kila mtu kwa maisha yako. And Christians spoke to something around it. That, and I will build on the fact that even as a generation, tunajipata tumebeba trauma za wazazi wetu. Recently, there was a clip that was circulating of a very young boy maybe 7, 8, 10, was lamenting of the father and how people, the perception there on single parents and how the mother has raised him well and all that. As much as he spoke so much sense to that fact, but this is a child tayari ashatwikwa mzigo ya mzazi. What are we raising in that young man? Oh, jamaa, God forbid, but chances are that there will be an outburst at some point in his life. So usijifanye Yesu pia wewe kama mtoto. If you're a child, be a child. If you're a teeny, be a teeny. Lakini usibebe trauma za wazazi wako, ukiongezea zako, then who will face the consequences? You will lay it on someone else that do not deserve it. And as we say, hurting people hurt others.
True.
So when you're hurting and you're not willing to work on your traumas and go through the process of healing, chances are that you will hurt someone who do not deserve that hurting. So I get to bring to your awareness some of those traumatic experiences, what you're feeling, even in the here and now, at the time you're sharing with your friends. Be able to express yourself to your friends. Let them understand this one, you've crossed the boundary. I feel you have gone beyond what I expected of you. Kindly allow me to take some step back to reflect on this. We will come and maybe have a review of it. I have a friend that we've known each other for pretty 4 years now or thereabout. And she's been amazing because we've had our lows and the highs. Kuna moments, situations are bad, we don't talk. Okay? We'll reach out to one another when there's need. But when things are good, we're able to sit down, put it on the table, explore it and say, here, you're wrong. You're my friend, I love you, but you're wrong. And are they willing to accept when there is an opinion from someone else? Are you willing to look at it objectively? Because when someone shares with you, it is out of love and they want the best from you, for you. You know. So each generation unapata mse akipewa an idea ama anakosolewa anaona ni kama unipendi. What are we looking at? These are people who interpret correction and feedback as either love or hate. Is that what life is? No. When someone corrects you, and with love, they really mean well for you. So there are so many other, in terms of solution, that we may want to bring forth. But again, just allowing this generation to also take responsibility and tailor what they think works for them. You know, and understanding that there is always support. Iwe ni paro, iwe ni friend, iwe ni just reaching out, you will always get support. And if there are people that will work with you, you must also be willing to accept that they will give you sometimes feedback that will not be very comfortable with you. Yeah.
True.
I think for me, one, mental illness is a disease. Let's start from there. We have this African way of assuming that someone can't be stressed, someone can't be depressed. We are so strong, we have to be, we are ngumu. So there are things that shouldn't break us in a certain way. So I feel like the way you go for treatment the way we treated COVID, the way we took every precaution to ginger and lemon and everything, we did everything right to make sure we didn't have COVID. Can we do the same when it comes to mental health? Because there's Madare for a reason.
Yeah.
There's all these other centers for a reason. Because if we did not have people struggling and found themselves there, those institutions wouldn't exist. So one, treat mental health as a disease. Let's not look at it the African way. Number two is come away from winner must take all mentality. Because I feel we are self-destructive as Africans, and especially as Kenyans in that aspect, where we cannot grow together. I have to take or you have to take, either or. So it's easier for me in a space where we are working together to come and mess your name because I want to take that role. And even if I'm not taking that role, I keep asking, when you spoil something for someone, mshahara wake itakukujia ama? You know, like, is it going to be discounted and added to your salary if someone replaces you or that person and things like that? but also awareness. Awareness. When I actually got into counseling because I went for counseling. I literally was drowning so much, so bad, a few years back, that I went into a money for counseling. And then through the walking in and walking out, someday one of the receptionists said, maybe you want to sit in that class. They're doing self-awareness. See if you like it. And I went day 1, day 2, day 3. I paid school fees and continued. And that's how I got myself into counseling. So self-awareness is not even just only about you as individual. It's also about your environment. And environment relates to how you see people. What value have you given them in your lives? That when they say something, it affects you or it doesn't. Because there's this saying that do not take advice from people you cannot, do not take criticism from people you cannot take advice from. So if I cannot come and ask you about a project that I'm working on and you support me, why is it that when you say something negative, I'm cross? Why is it affecting me? My son today came and said that I told him, you've lost weight. And he said, oh, really? I said, yeah, I noticed. And he said, I asked him, why are you sounding like something is wrong? And he said, because in school, some people call me Kanono, and I don't like that. And now I have to take the role of a mother to say what counts and what doesn't count. And why is it that when they are calling you Kanunu, why is it affecting you? Do you feel bad because you feel that way or because they said it? Like, by the time you're validating, because sometimes you have to validate your heart, sit down and think about it and ask yourself, so John said this, why is it upsetting me so much? What is it about John that is affecting me? Because sometimes you're affected not because you're upset, it's because someone else said it. Yeah, otherwise you're generally okay with your weight. Yeah, so you even buy clothes that fit your size. When you go shopping, you pick the things that are right for your size. But the moment John says, lakini siku hizi umekuwa mnono, you're like, if you didn't like it, you will not buy things that fit that size if you're not comfortable with it. Then also look at life struggles across board. Someone is struggling with being skinny. Someone is struggling with gaining weight. Someone has been in hospital for months. One time we responded to a home. We needed to take someone to hospital. Years back. And as a crew, we said, so people actually do live in glass houses. Because magari tu peke yake, the walls, the everything. It was a proper glass house. But at that time, that person can't even see. So what is it that you're not grateful for? Because I find for us, it's gratitude. That's the problem many times. Write down your goals. Break them down into 3 or 5 years or 10 years. What are you working towards? A Range Rover, as you've said. What is your plan to get it? How do you want to work towards it? Break it down. We grew up with our mother teaching us to have a board that had a picture of your house, the car you want, and everything. And every one of that goal, you had to write the timeline and why that timeline was important to you. So that when you achieve it, you're happy. So happiness, and the issue we have a lot is the waiting to be happy. So I'm waiting to graduate, I'll be happy. I'm waiting to do my master's, I'll be happy. You're not happy in the process of the changes that you're making. So I have moved out from a mabati house, I've moved into a bedsitter, nyumba ya mawe. Man, that's a big deal. Go sit and eat nyama and say, leo nimehama. It's a big deal. You move from that to the next. And one day you move from that to a 1-bedroom. The moment you take time to smell the roses, to reward yourself for your achievements, you take a lot of positive energy with you because you appreciate them. And also it means you're aware of your growth so that you're not consistently waiting for the next one for you to appreciate those moments. Appreciate people around you. John can tell you, I am the person you text me, so today I did what, and my response will be, well done, you did so well. The smallest of things, I will tell you well done. Because why am I only waiting to tell you well done with big things if I am not helping you see the small things that you're doing. So be people who are able to sit back and tell people, yes, you are afraid of starting this certificate course, but you've made it. Well done. And let someone enjoy the well done at this time before you move them to, now you need to do a degree. Unaanza lini? Someone has had a baby just now, before they even breathe. Oh, you know your tummy is too big. You need to lose some weight. What is your problem? Let people be people who enjoy the moments. Talk about the good things as much as you talk about the bad
things. Yeah.
That thing we watched, Why Did I Get Married? 2. Is it 2? When she said, write down the list of the good and write down the list of the bad. And if the good outweighs the bad, then stay. If the bad outweighs the good. So some friendships we keep, not because they're 100% solid, but the little value they add so much value in our lives in day to day. So we know you uko na ufala kabisa, unataka na nini fala, lakini mseki come through, vitu zinaenda 100. So you keep people because of that. And lastly for me is, no one is perfect. No one 100% will come with everything in a package that you like. And that's why there was that song for, if you want your woman perfect one, go and build So if we then see people as that, then we deal with people based on incidences. I think John has mentioned it. Christine has hurt me today. Christine didn't hurt me yesterday. So can I address this incident as now? Not as umekuwa ukinifanyia. Because if you didn't address the umekuwa, why you bring it now? Yeah, so every time something happens and you're in a conversation that you're not agreeing, then deal with incidences. Then solve that incident so that the next time it doesn't carry forward. And that's why a lot of us women, we struggle in relationships. Because ours is 1990 to date. We continuously carry, my mother calls it a bag of hats. Uko na ka backpack. Umebebanga kwa mgongo. Na imejaza Christine, John, Mesh, nani. So every time John says something, you add it to the list. Nani says something, you add it to the list. So you're always hurting and you're always carrying people. So sitting down with yourself, and that moment when you're saying sitting down with yourself, you sit down and say, hey, leo na Jackie ameniongelesha vibaya, but looking at that situation, hata mimi nilikosea. Maybe pia mimi sikukam vizuri. Then you're able to process and say, wacha kesho when I meet Jackie, I'll have this conversation with her. And then sitting down with someone and addressing the issues of the present. Let's not keep carrying. Those bag of hearts are the ones that long-term, as John said, long-term sadness, long-term feeling of not wanting to do anything or to be with people. And the reason why you don't want to be with people vary for so many reasons, so many things you're going through at the time. But for resolving issues, have issues resolved. I have this theory that I'd rather you not like me for being true to myself than try to sugarcoat who I am around you. So if you don't like me for who I am, it is fine. As long as I am not disrespectful, as long as I am not destroying your image, as long as there's nothing I'm doing to you that's hurtful, easy general tupendane, it's fine. But away from that, personal responsibility. No one should be the one responsible for your mental health. No one is carrying your happiness. It is you. Your feelings are within you. So you have to take responsibility of, this is how I feel at this moment and I don't like this feeling. Sit with it, process it, talk your way out of it. But if you don't sit with your feelings and you don't process them, they build up. Yeah.
Wow. Guys, wisdom. So what's your parting shot? One word.
A stitch in time saves 9. Kizungu wewe. I waited this moment. I've never used that proverb, by the way. A stitch in time saves 9. Yeah. Okay. So love yourself, and most of all, just be aggressive with everything that happens around you. But also, if you are aggressive, be ready to learn.
Teachable spirit.
Yeah, that's the word.
Oh, okay. That was not one word, so at least I have some leverage.
You can say 2 words.
Yeah, I will say 2.
Yeah.
One is you say that, and it reminds me today my post on Sensible Saturday was do not set yourself on fire to make other people warm.
Yeah, true.
So I hope that that will make meaning and sense to each one of us in our spaces. Secondly is that there is always help out there. There is help out there. So just reach out and know that you are always human in making. We are always becoming. Just as human beings, we are always becoming. And that process of becoming is not just an event. It will take time, it will take years, but the more deliberate we are in that process, the more closer we are drawing to the people that we desire to become in the future.
For me, healing is not a one-day thing, and healing comes in different phases. You'll be up today feeling all good, tomorrow something just brings you down. So accept both with the same energy and communicate when you're not okay. Today, say, yesterday I was okay, today I'm not okay. But above all, show up for yourself every time, 100. Everything that concerns you, give it your best. Yeah.
What I can say, it's okay. Forgive yourself over and over and over. Forgive yourself again and again. You still have a chance. You still have tomorrow. Yeah, so where can we find you guys?
Social media zote, Mesh, Zimesh, Instagram, Raymesh, Facebook, niko na vitu mingi. X jengia. X, Twitter by the way is X. You know, there's someone who has to, X is what? X is Twitter. Yes, yeah, in Twitter at Raymesh, TikTok, Mesh, Zimesh. And let us meet there and interact. By the way, ukienda huko utapata mtu anaongea. Please just note that.
What do you do?
I am a dancer and a choreographer. Yeah, so that is what I do.
I will share I'm very active on Facebook, so I'll limit myself to that. So on Facebook, I'm Josie Jones. So with there, hit my inbox. Let's talk. Let's engage. Let's learn together.
I'm on social media, Facebook, Christine Amondi. Instagram, Amondi Christine. Yes.
Okay. So find me on all my social media platforms at Yakira. I'm a fashion designer and I'm also a presenter at 8K TV. It was nice interacting with you guys. I've got some wisdom. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, so follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, 8K TV. Kibera ni kwetu. Thank you guys.